You're all good. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Angular Team stream. We are live in the building. It's been a big week. Uh, what happened this week, friends? Comment in the chat box in the comments. Let us know what happened this week. What went on? Jeremy, we were busy. Why were we so busy?
Oh boy, what was it?
We were busy.
Yeah, obviously Angular 17 came out on Wednesday, and the new beta of the documentation site came out on Monday. So it's actually kind of funny because on this very stream, we had done some coding where I was working on a new API docs extraction pipeline. And little did you know that that was working on the new API docs pipeline for Angular.dev.
That's right. That's right. And you friends did not know that's what we were actually doing, but you knew all the time. It's kind of like one of those mystery movies where the clues were in front of you all along and they didn't know. But it's good. We did a good job of keeping it under wraps. It's really hard to do that when you work in open source. So it is, I feel very proud that most people didn't know. We did have some good guessers, Jeremy. They were very good guessers. So
Yeah, I mean it's probably not that hard to guess. Our site was in need of some tuning up.
yeah, let's see. Tayamba, let's go. Tayamba, I actually saw one of your comments in one, I think in Angular Nation, that you had guessed exactly what we were going to do. And Bonnie was so worried that like somebody leaked it because you guessed exactly, but that's because you're part of the community. We appreciate you. I see you on Twitter out there helping and supporting. Really fantastic. Evgeny, hi, how are you? Good to see you. I actually, Evgeny, it's good to see you. And I'm really interested in just seeing more of your work as well, because you are a person that has shown that you have a lot of Angular skill, and it's really great. So continue to support the community because we're glad that you're out there. Let's see what else we got in here. We got a lot of people in the building. We got Lars. Lars is in the building. Hello, it's good to see you as always. Boys and girls, good to see you. Enia, what's up? What's going on? We got Michael Faith. Thank you so much. Congratulations to everybody who worked on it, contributors, everyone. We had a lot of great people in the building. Pedro, hello, hello, hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. PK, listen, friend, that thing is ready to use. We launched officially on November 8th. So it was ready to use. So great questions. Muhammad, hello, hello, hello. Francesco, hello, hello, hello. So many people in the building. So good to have all of you. Oh, let's go. Alcatraz 01, what's up? Howdy, folks. Thanks for taking up my question during that live stream. Chant with wild over it. Listen, we're here for the people. We can't say it enough. We're here for the people. Listen, let's see if I can say your name right. Maziasti. You think that we deserve more viewers? We agree. So keep watching. That's the only way people will watch. Keep watching and keep commenting. That's great. Ryan. Okay. I can say hello to everybody. I'll say hello to a few more people, and then we got to keep going. Let's see. We got John. I can't say your middle name, but hello.
You could just say hello to everybody, and that's a blanket statement.
I know, but I really like shouting people out. I feel good about it. I'll just take 30 more seconds to do that. Sanjay, hello. David, hello. Steven, hello, hello, hello. Kalisa, what's going on? Lena, hey, so glad that you liked it. Good, 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 good. Vineet, that's what's up. Thank you so much. The team worked really hard. Hector, Adrian, Sosa Moreno, hello. What's going on? Angular is the greatest of all time. Mari, listen, if you believe it, then that's what makes it real. All right. Gaspar, hello. Let's see. David, hello. Adeline, hello, hello, hello. Hugo, Zach, Rafael, what's going on? Luis, Alex, was good. Ramesh was good. Okay. I can't say hello for the whole stream as much as I want to. We do have some things to do. Jeremy's going to do something special today. I showed him something.
All right. I need you to send me the link again.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so one question that we get a lot is how do I...
Oh, I got it.
You got it? All right, I'm going to put this in chat as well. Can I do that? Let's see. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to do the Angular challenges. We're going to just do something just for fun. Jeremy has agreed to do this cold, meaning he has no previous like context. Okay, so I want to share this. Let's add this to the stage. So this is a website for the Angular challenges. This is put together by a fantastic community member. All right, I think this is Thomas LaForge, I believe. And if I said that wrong, Tomas, I'm sorry. Here, we can just check right here on GitHub or Twitter. Yeah, Thomas. Okay, so good. All right. Sounds good. I clicked on Twitter and meant GitHub. So, all right. So this is what we're gonna work on today. So Jeremy has to do a little bit of setup.
Yeah, so I'll go through the setup, and I figure we're just gonna chat. This is gonna be casual. So do you want me to share my screen? So I'll have like basically everything.
I do want you to share your screen, but before that, I just want to make sure everyone knows what we're talking about. So I'll put the link in the chat. So go ahead and check that out. And yeah, it's gonna be super cool. Jeremy's just gonna build some stuff. So let's get Jeremy out there. All right, so you're on screen and you're just gonna do the setup. His screen is super tiny. He will adjust it.
Yeah,
in a second. Jeremy, I think this uses NX, so you might just. I don't really know if you can clone this and then get out of NX if you don't want to use NX. I don't know how to use NX, so that's why I'm mentioning that.
Well, let's we're gonna follow the tutorial as it is here. This little getting started, and then we'll go from there.
Sure.
I've got my thing here, so I'm gonna say git clone. I'm gonna say origin upstream. Here's upstream. Here's a hot tip. Well, actually, no, this is my fork. So I'm gonna see. This is a hot tip. My advice to you is that whenever you set up GitHub repos, name your fork. Make your Git remote name equal to your GitHub username, and always call the actual like upstream repository upstream. I really dislike that the default is origin. I feel like that's not very descriptive. Cool. So we've cloned here, and let's see, what is this using? Is this going to use npm or yarn or what? I guess I'll just follow the instructions.
Yeah,
so we've cloned.
Follow the instructions.
It's weird that it says use npm CI.
It is Firewatch, I think. Is your background Firewatch?
It is Firewatch.
Did anybody play Firewatch?
Firewatch is one of my favorite games, and I in fact have one of Ollie Moss's prints. That's the volunteer print up on my wall on the like opposite side of me.
Not to jump in and break your vibe, but I have a cool story about Firewatch. When I was in college, we had a temporary person at the IT department where I worked while I was in college who came for a few months and was filling in when somebody was on. Anyway, that guy, it turns out, was one of the lead developers on Firewatch eventually. So I knew that guy like in the mid 2000s, like 10, 15 years before the game ever came out. So. Anyway, have fun.
I need the stream to give me some grace as I'm finishing a little like morning snack. I'm very hungry and I need to be able to give you my best energy. So give me a little grace as I try not to eat on camera, but I am.
You're fine. Eat on camera. That's a whole thing, right? That's like a thing people do on Twitch.
Oh, we got a good question. I wanted to address this. Zach Nero says, why are subtitles disabled? They are not disabled. Zach, we are trying to find a way to do subtitles for multiple users on stream. But thank you for calling this out. This is something that we are thinking about, and we're trying to figure it out. So, but thanks for calling this out. And if this is too like just bad of an experience for you, or for other folks who need subtitles, the replays will have subtitles. We apologize for that.
All right. So, okay, we got a bunch of challenges here, Mark. Are we just going to like go in order from the beginning, or do we want to just like start at a hard
get
one?
warmed up. Just get warmed up because we don't know what they're like, right? So just do the projection one.
All right. So
and then you're gonna have to like make your stuff like extremely huge so people can like see when you start coding.
Yeah. So this is interesting that like it lists ng template outlet here in this section on like projection, because like kind of inside the framework we don't consider like ng template outlet like content projection. Content projection is specifically talking about ng content, but I think we have some documentation that also kind of conflates them. So let's see. So you will start with a fully functional application that includes, actually here, let me guess, I'll run this.
Run it. Yeah, say run it and then see if we can
start.
Get it like going.
npm install is still going, so I can't run it until that finishes. So I'll just read the challenge. So the goal is to implement the city card. While the application works, the developer experience is far from optimal. Every time you need to implement a card, you have to modify the card component of TS in real-life projects. Okay, so this is just like create a card component. Okay, it finished npm install. So I am gonna just ng serve here.
Yeah, his IDE is going to get bigger. Someone says it's tiny, it's not clearly visible. Ishwar says that. He will make it bigger. He was just reading and getting set up. He will make it bigger. Thank you for letting us know about that.
Yeah. So I did just for here, let's just like open a file here. This should be readable. This is kind of the
no, that is readable. That's totally readable. I think if you go any bigger.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is not using, I see. What's here?
Hold on one second, Jeremy, as you're doing that. Let me answer a question. Some suggestions or materials for beginners. Sanjay, check this out. Go to angular.dev/tutorials. And we have completely beginner tutorials. And then I would say check out Angular challenges, because those green ones I think are like targeted for the beginner. So give those a try as well. And we're going to see. This is not like a judgment whether or not you should do it or not. We're just having some fun. And this is a popular repository. So we want to just check it out.
Yeah, I've literally never looked at this before, so I'm coming in fresh on this. Yeah, I've also never used NX before, so we'll learn some stuff there. Okay, so it's running now.
Wait, Sirkin says, Jeremy Elbourn, you are really funny. I asked you 2 times in this year about a rewrite of the Angular documentation, and each time you said no comment. Good poker face you have. Yeah, well, he's Jeremy.
Yeah. Working in open source, you don't often get to like do big surprises. So obviously when we're working on things that are actually in Angular, we don't want to go off into the dark room and work on it for a year and then ship it and be like, I hope you like it. We want to do RFCs and we want to develop in the open and get community feedback to make sure that everybody is, involved in the community of like what we're building. But for the doc site, we wanted it to kind of just be a surprise.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So I'm getting some feedback. So can you just clarify, friend? Cannot say your name. I apologize. It says, no, it's not readable. I am watching this on a stream window, and it looks readable to me. What part is not readable? Let us know so we can do better for you, okay?
Yeah. The my little like file explorer window here is probably still pretty small, but
oh yeah,
that's just going to stay small for this. You'll be able to see the source code, so don't worry about it. So what does this actually want me to do? It wants me to like create a card component.
Hey, one second. We have that. Shorts, Angular docs should have a complete path A to Z consistent of milestones that new developers can follow to make the most out of Angular docs. We have 24 lessons that you can take that are bite-sized lessons. Try those out and let us know if that meets your needs or if you think we can do better. 2 ways you can help. You can leave an issue, Or if you want to submit a pull request, that can also help. The docs are open source.
Actually, we want oh, this template is inline here.
All right, what do you got to do, Jeremy? Sorry, I cut you off a couple of times.
So it's got this card here, and it just has like this ng if, right? Like if card type equals teacher, if card type equals students. It's like showing one, and it just wants you to change it to use content projection. So I just have to find out where this card component is used. So
Only content projection? I see a couple of ways to improve that. So that's interesting.
And
what version of Angular is this project on? Were you able to upgrade it?
I didn't try.
No, don't do it yet because I don't want to like cause trouble.
16.2.
Yeah, but I want you to be able to use like new syntax, but I don't want to cause drama.
Yeah, well, let's do that later. You want to do the challenges, or do you want to just upgrade it out?
I don't know. I'm so in love with our new syntax. I'm just too in love with it. I just want to like spend all the time talking about it and working on it.
Okay. So here we got this is what we're going to do. So we're just going to come to this card component, and we're going to comment these things out, comment these images out. And we're just going to put a ng content. No, not container, content right there, which you can self-close now.
Nice.
Great feature.
Tell the people what that ng content did, Jeremy.
So this is a placeholder. And so when I come over here and like, there's this app card right here, instead of it just being entirely rendered by stuff in this template, it creates this ng content as a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that I put in here is going to show up in that placeholder. So I will like paste that there, uncommented it out. I will reformat that because it's a little janky. We don't need this if statement because this is always the student card. And that's it. And then similarly, there's probably, I think, a teacher card. Yeah, that's going to be the same thing. So
let's fix it. So walk us through the part. So you're going to go to the template. You're going to make a change here.
Yeah, so we're just going to come over here to this card component template. We're going to take out, so we already used the student part here. You're all uncommented first, then remove this teacher part, take that out of there. Come over here, put that in there, get rid of the if statement, and that's it. So if I come back over here, like you'll see this is exactly the same as it was initially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just two different components that are projecting this image in, right? Like we can inspect the DOM here. I'll bring this up and zoom it in. Like here's this image tag, and it's going inside of this div right above it, and you can see that div right here is like here's the ng content placeholder, and here's that div. So this is similar to slot in Vue or Svelte or something.
And what about for our friends who came from the old days? We used to call this something else.
In AngularJS, this kind of concept was called transclusion.
Yeah, transclusion. That's right. Oh, Jeremy, you got a lot of people asking you to do something already. So they got some good points. They got some really good points. Now, the first thing is this. Gaurav says, isn't ng deep deprecated? So we didn't write these challenges. We're just doing them, just like code. We don't know anything about them. We're just doing them. So can we improve this to not use ng deep, Jeremy?
I'm assuming that that's one of the challenges. I'm assuming that they put it in there so that you can do the exercise of removing it.
Okay, so we'll come back to that. All right. Well, let's see. Another thing is this.
Let's see.
Can we do ng optimized image instead of using just regular images? I think we could do that. I think that's a good like small change we can make. That'll be really helpful.
I mean, we could. We're going to do the challenges though.
But that's not in the challenge. I don't think they have optimized image in the challenge.
I don't think there's a challenge for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So just add it.
All right, fine. It's also though This is an SVG.
Right.
Um,
The biggest drama, you're going to need the source, the width and the height that you want, because it's going
Yeah.
to warn you to put the width and the height in when you do ng source.
yeah, we're gonna just go look at how big they are, right?
Yeah,
So,
right. Mm-hmm.
okay. Why? I want this to like go away when I'm. Never mind. It's too big. What is this? It's close to 200 by 200, so I'm just gonna call it 200 by 200.
Sure.
So we're gonna change this to ng source, and it's not gonna work right away.
Right. Because you have to import it and blah, blah, blah.
Width equals 200 pixels. I guess pixels is implied for this, so you don't need it.
Yeah.
Height equals 200. And then we're going to need to go to this components. So this is, oh, I'm even in the wrong place. I didn't mean to do this one. Whoops. That's the wrong file.
Oh, is that the wrong? Oh, those are the icons, right? With the trash can icon. Okay.
This is the one I meant to do. So this one is ng source. And is this standalone? This is not standalone.
It's in a part of a module?
So this is going to just work actually, because it's almost certainly importing common module already. So
yeah.
Right. So first I'll just change it to ng source and then we'll see what errors we get.
That sounds good.
All right.
Wait, how could one be standalone and the other not be standalone? That is very interesting to me.
Let's see.
So
this
that one is standalone.
Yeah. Presumably, again, there's probably a challenge to turn this to standalone, which is why we probably should just do the challenges, Mark.
Yeah. All right. I'll just try to let the community be here with us. Okay. So we did the first challenge. Jeremy fixed it all. Let's answer some questions. Mook says, can you please explain the future of RxJS? You want me to take this, Jeremy, or you want to take this one?
I mean, RxJS is a library that gives you data structures and operators for doing functional reactive programming in JavaScript.
Right. And when you're thinking about it for Angular, because I think I know what your question is, D, you're probably asking us around with signals coming in, what's going to happen. Okay. What Jeremy just said is the key to really understanding the future of RxJS and Angular is that it will be used for what I even like to say, reactive programming, when you have a stream of events, right? A stream of events that are asynchronous. And I even go to say unpredictable. Unpredictable does not mean unstable. Unpredictable means you don't know when it's going to happen, right? RxJS is fit for that use case. And with signals versus RxJS, you'll have a more clear option when to use each one. Okay. But good question. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to another question. A quick question from Augustine Campon. What about observables on output without the need of an event emitter so code is more declarative? We're looking into signals, inputs, and outputs. And we think that that'll solve some of your problems.
It's funny they put.
Let's see. Question: in the Angular community, there's a lot of talk about good app architecture. Oh, I'm gonna make a app called architecture. Smart / dumb component separation, etc. When I say Angular dev to code source, I don't see that separation. Why? Oh, good question. That is a good question. I don't know. Maybe so. One thing to think about though, when it comes to architecture in general, you do what you need to do, and you do what works sometimes, right? And so maybe that's something that we'll improve. I'm not sure why it's not using smart / presentational components. Let's not say dumb. Let's say presentational components. Jeremy, any insight on why we're not using the smart force or the smart and presentational component style on a.dev?
It's just not the choice that was made in that particular instance.
Right. It doesn't mean that one thing is better than the other or that you should not do that. It's just not what we did there. But good question, though. I appreciate that. Okay.
For this.
Okay, Ishwar, hopefully this is now visible for you. Let us know if it is not. Okay, let's see. Hello guys, it's possible to have a tutorial on Angular project folder structure. I mean, so when you do ng new, that is what our recommendation is for your structure. So that's kind of like your tutorial in a way, because we're telling you based on ng new what we think you should do, at least to start with. But we can look more into that and see if there's a way to, unless you're asking what are the different parts, Samuel. If that's the case, let us know. Then we could talk about it. At Angular, do we have to wait for Angular v18 for signal component inputs, or will it be in a minor release? Jeremy,
was that Lars's question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're never going to commit to a specific release for something. Obviously, we are always hoping to ship things in minors when we can. So I think it's fair to say, like, it's something we hope to do is to ship signal-based inputs in the relatively near future. But we have unexpected things can happen. High priority bugs can happen. Priorities can come up. So it's really difficult for us to like ever commit to a specific release for when a feature is going to be released or made stable or anything like that.
Okay, a couple of more comments. Did you finish all your debugging?
Yeah, I changed it all to ng source optimized image directive, just like you wanted.
Yeah, you know why? Because people should just do this by default. There's no reason not to do it. And then if they use a image server, they can get even more benefits. So just use this.
Yep.
Just use it. Let's see, one more question before you go to your next challenge. Or you can start pre-reading it, and then I'll read this question. Will material branding be updated too? We love the new design approach. Michael Faith, thank you so much for that. I don't know what the future plans are for the designs on Angular material, like what we'll do with those like brands, but Jeremy, do you need insight?
What I can say is like we are going to do another update for the UI component site as well. No specific timeline on that, but it is kind of one of the things we're planning at looking at over the course of the next year is kind of doing a similar refresh on the UI component site.
Okay, let's see. Can we do a content projection tutorial for your new website? Alex, yes. So right now we have our first tutorial. Okay, sorry, let me calm down. I get really excited about this, Alex. We have our first tutorials out right now, right? That's kind of our like beginner, like just jump in there. I am actively designing the next set of tutorials. Jeremy's a part of that conversation, and other leads on Angular are part of that conversation. We're actively designing the next round of like in-browser tutorials for the next round of topics. That's coming for sure, 100% certainty. Now, when that'll be launched, we'll launch them as they're ready. But the good thing is we won't really need to do like a version release. This can come as they're ready with the when the content is ready. These can come out. All right. Very good question. But yes, we can. Yes, we can. All right, Jeremy. Next challenge. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna jump around because I want a medium challenge now.
Fine, go for it.
So this is going to create a structural directive.
What's a structural directive, Jeremy?
I didn't know we were doing a whole tutorial. I thought we were just doing the challenges.
We are, but we got to help the people.
Well, I'll talk through it as I do it.
Okay.
I need to read the challenge first.
Okay, go ahead and read the challenge.
All right, so let's here, I want to commit. I'm just going to commit all of this. I'll do it in my IDE. Content projection and ng source. Commit.
Ooh, and ng source.
Cool. So close all of that, and so we've got here information component in this in these challenges. It says you'll find 6 buttons corresponding to 6 different users, which I guess are just these divs. They're not actually buttons. Mm-hmm. So it displays the correct piece of information for each roles. So, okay, it wants to create a structural directive here. I guess it wants me to turn this into a structural directive. So I want to see how this is used. But has role, is that like a component that exists already, or does it want me to create a new one? Okay, so there's this has role directive here that already exists.
Okay, while you're doing that, let me answer this one question that keeps coming up. Angular, are you planning on creating an official Angular certificate so we can enrich our CV? It will be awesome for junior devs trying to land a job in Angular. We have no plans on creating an official certificate at this time. But thank you for this question.
This is already injecting template ref. What's it doing with it?
Hey, Krishna, I just put the link in the chat. So go ahead and check that out.
I think I'm spending most of my time here just figuring out what this code is already doing.
That is the life of a developer, because you rarely ever get to, you rarely ever get to start fresh.
So I'm just going to comment all this out. We're going to say here, we'll change this to this role equals, and then what are the roles? It's all caps, so we'll just take manager here.
I love that about TypeScript, that like it's, see, now it's complaining that it's not a type, so you got to put it in quotes, right?
Yeah.
It's like a string literal type. Like, that's really cool that it does that, and then it's a little confusing at first when you see it.
Yeah. I feel like the new control flow makes that a lot better. So this is only visible for whatever. I don't actually care about what the specifics are, but we'll duplicate that, and we'll do another one here for what's another one? Writer. So we'll change that. This is manager. Writer.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Are we going to improve NG optimized image so it can generate responsive images using local image inside local directive like Next.js does? Okay, Alex, don't have to yell at us, buddy. We're with you. Don't worry about it. I know you probably didn't mean anything by it. So are we going to do that? We will continue to try to improve this. I don't know what the team so we partner with the Chrome Aurora team on this directive. If this is feedback, definitely open an issue to ask for this, because we can talk about it and find out if this is in the pipeline. So definitely open the issue in GitHub and ask about that. Good question.
So this, like, it's already a structural directive. Like, I don't know what the I thought I was gonna like write a structural directive from scratch, but it's already set up to be one. So it's injecting template ref here. So
why is that important?
So here, like, I'll just use this here as an example here. So there's this element that exists in Angular called ng template. And what that does is creates a template fragment. So I can put some paragraph in here, and I'll just say like paragraph. And this is not going to render anything out by itself, right? This is just declaring a template fragment. And then I can grab a reference to this in a couple of different ways. Probably the most common is to put, some variable on
like
here.
A template variable on there.
And then query for it. But there are other ways you can do that as well. And then you can use, once you have a reference to this template ref, you can use a couple of different APIs to render it out. So the main one is like view container, create embedded view, and then you pass the template ref. And that will render that template into that view container. And what a structural directive does is the equivalent structural directive. Well, so say I had a structural directive for doing this that was called, I don't know. We'll just use ngIf to demonstrate, right? But like ngIf equals, some condition.
Mm-hmm.
The equivalent here is p star ngIf equals some condition. And so these two things are, for the most part, equivalent, with some like very nuanced difference between them that we don't need to get into. But so what you can see is happening is the star syntax means treat this whole element here as if there was an imaginary ng template around it. And then this directive has access to that ng template, so it can inject it. And inside of that directive, it can call create embedded view to render itself out. The end.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know that there was very much to this challenge. I guess I should I probably should have done the challenges in order then, because I don't know how I'm even supposed to get to whatever view it is that this appears in.
Okay. Let's see. So I feel like we're missing something. What are we missing here?
Well, I'll just go back and I'll go back and do the challenge.
Oh, do you think that because we didn't do the other parts, like that they build upon each other?
I think they probably build it on each other.
Oh no! So you did that work, and it doesn't really matter because I see.
I don't know that we're going to get that far anyway, so we're just kind of.
Well, if I stop interrupting you, you'll get even further. I already know that, but I'm going to interrupt you again because we have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're mostly here to chat and answer questions. So.
Okay, so let's see. So Augustine says, I didn't really understand your response. Without observables as outputs, we can't deal with asynchronous events declaratively. So my response was, will we get observable outputs? I said that we don't, that with signals based output, we won't need.
No, so let me actually correct that. There is no signal based output. That's not a concept. So a signal is a container of a value at the current point in time. It does not represent a stream of events like an RxJS observable does.
Right.
And so if you are thinking about the RFC, where we talk about changing the output API as part of signal-based components, that is not actually tied to signals as a concept. It is just to make that API more.
So I misspoke on that one. Got it. Yeah.
More consistent with the other APIs that are not using decorators in the proposed signal-based components. The event emitter that is proposed in the RFC works identically to the event emitter that exists today.
Got it. Okay, so will we ever do anything with observable-based outputs?
I mean, event emitters are observables today. They already are.
So I wonder where the disconnect is between our friend's question and then what our response is then.
Yeah, I think we don't advertise that fact because it's kind of meant to be an implementation detail.
Yeah.
But Angular outputs, like the event emitter class, extends, I believe it extends subject, so it is an observable. Now, that said, one of the things we've talked about that is in the long term, we would like to make RxJS optional for Angular applications. And so there may be a point where outputs are not observables by default, but there would likely be some API that you would use to then get an observable from an output that models it as a stream of events that would be in the RxJS interop package.
Got it. All right. While you're looking at your next challenge to make a CRUD application, I'm going to look at Agalesh's comment with NG17, NG new application control flow template syntax gives an editor errors in VS Code. Anything to be corrected in VS Code? So are we working on any updates to have it not give an error with the control flow?
Hold on. I was trying to read the challenge and I missed the first part of the question.
Okay. The control flow is giving errors in VS Code. Is there anything we're doing to fix that?
You should be able to have already updated to the new version of Angular Language Service, the plugin for VS Code, and that should just work. It should already be shipped.
Good. Alan says, Augustine, if I'm not mistaken, event emitter is actually an extension of observable. You're correct. Good job. That's really good feedback. Let's see. Ishwar, what's the scope to deal with file types other than images? I don't know what that means.
Let's see.
Ishwar, let me know what you mean by this one. Tom asks, Tom Venom, cool name. Angular is Angular v17 going to be more popular than ReactJS? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? SG707. I would love full HMR support. So would we. So this is something that we're thinking about. How to improve the HMR support. Not that we're looking at full HMR. That's a different conversation. What can we do to improve our current HMR support? That's something we're actively looking at.
Yeah, it's obviously it's been in the backlog for a long time, and it is a candidate for something we might work on in 2024.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let's see. Any plans to increase documentation around SSR? We have some documentation there, and if you think we should have more, David, we can add more. That's definitely something we can add more to. Okay, let's see. New comments. Let me keep going. All right. Oh wait. Let's see. We got Chow in the chat. Let's see, Mark, today we create outputs like this. Okay, instead of event here, we can assign an observable, and Angular still understands it as an output. That is correct.
Yeah, that's accidental, by the way. That was never intended to work.
In the RC, we might get output to create a output in signal-based applications. Right. There's no way to assign observable to an output. That was the question. Thank you for helping me clarify, because I did not quite understand the question.
I understand what you're asking now, and no, that is not something that we currently have planned to do, because, like I just mentioned, the fact that you can assign an existing observable to an output, that was never intended. That was like pure accident that works. And we don't have any intention of supporting that, but we will see. Like, it may end up being the case that it's such a popular pattern that we have no choice but to add support for it, but we're not that far along yet to have made a decision.
Prettier does not format properly with new control flow syntax. We're actually talking to the Prettier team and working with them on this. That's coming. Thank you for calling it out, but that's definitely coming. Okay, let's see. I can't believe the new version of Angular is so amazing. Neither can we, Fred. Thank you for noticing that. It is quite quite amazing. Let's see. Will we introduce single file component at some point? You can do this, Julio, right now. You can put your template, you can put your styles, and you can have a standalone component. You probably are thinking about like single file compilation maybe, but right now you can do everything in one file if you want. All the things, because you don't even need a module anymore. All right, let's see. So many questions. There's too many questions. You all are in the building. All right, Jeremy's doing his commit, and I'll post more questions. I saw a comment on Twitter that most of the examples in docs are using constructor instead of injecting function. I was under the impression that we are switching to inject.
To be determined.
To be determined. I was gonna say
we support the inject function. We have not actually we haven't made any communication or messaging or anything that people should prefer inject over constructor injection or anything like that. We are still kind of discussing internally on the team what the pattern we want to recommend for injection is. For now, both of them are fully supported, and you can use the one that works for your use case.
Yeah. My dream is to work on the Angular team. What can I do to achieve this? Do you recommend anything? Okay. Here's the hard part about working at Google in general. We cannot usually predict where there will be headcount on any team. So if the goal is to work on Angular, you can work on Angular as a contributor, which we have some amazing contributors who we are so grateful for. But I understand that you want to be on a core team. The best thing I can say is that, and I'll ask Jeremy to jump in on this too, because we can't really tell you how to do it because we don't get to control that. But continue to contribute, continue to support your community, your local community, Leonardo. Continue to just do things in that vein. Jeremy, any advice we can give?
Honestly, not really. It's it is there's a whole cottage industry built around the challenge of interviewing at tech companies like Google. And Google, is kind of infamous for having a particularly challenging hiring bar. And then even there, when you interview for a job at a tech company like Google, you typically aren't interviewing for well, I don't know if this has changed. Like I've been at Google a long time, so you don't always get a say over what your assignment is going to be, even if you do manage to get through the hiring process. So, not to say like anything is impossible, but it's not really something that like where we could say like follow this advice and you'll do it. It's like it's a kind of a complicated thing.
Yeah, but thanks for the question, and thank you for being, so passionate about Angular. Seriously, thank you for that. Like, our community and our product, and I say our, I mean like all of us, right? Because Angular is open source, it's not just ours. Like the Angular team is all of us, because you all contribute to it, you all help us build it, and we're really grateful for that. So thank you for your hard work, and I really do mean that. Does Angular v17 is it available for IDX? It should be updated soon. If it's not there, it should be updated soon. Good question. Good question. All right, I'm gonna take a break from questions for a second, and we'll let Jeremy do some coding.
Yeah, I don't even really know what I'm supposed to be doing here. It's like, okay, refactor. It's like refactor this with best practices, and I'm like, well, refactor what?
Yeah, refactor it.
I think it wants me to refactor this app component. It's like avoid using any as a type. It's like, okay, there's an any here.
There's
like
quite a few any. So let's do that. So let's explain to the streets what they should think about if they're going to get rid of the any's.
I mean, just put what the type is.
Right, exactly. Put the type. Let's find the type of to-dos, Jeremy, and let's see what the type of that is.
I don't know what it is.
Let's find the to-dos. Let's see. Where's it being passed in? So that's a. Let's see. That's the root app. What?
I want to go. What are you doing? I want to go. Where is it even getting these to-dos from?
Right.
It's getting them from this endpoint. Does it give me a data structure for them already, or do I have to invent one? I think I have to invent one. So I guess I have to run this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw a debugger right here so I can refresh this. Horses, hello. Why aren't you hitting my debugger statement? See, I'm not even, I guess, am I even on this page?
Okay, you want to stop and restart your server. So I don't know how this is set up. So friends at home, we're doing this live. Specifically, we by meaning Jeremy's doing this live without any real context in terms of how it's all set up. We're just doing it like somebody else would do it.
Yeah. So what this is the app root, right? So here, I'll also throw a debugger right here. I feel like this should catch because this is the root component. So it's not. Let me try restarting my dev server.
And I want you to switch to WSL. Stop using that bash thing that you're using, git bash. Switch to WSL.
What makes it better?
Because it's okay. I'll tell you what makes it better. Because it's actually the full file system, and it's not converting your Windows file system to like an alias almost. It's like an actual Linux distro file system, and you get just more control over there.
But then, can I use WebStorm to edit that stuff?
You can, because I use VS Code to edit stuff that's on my Linux distro. You can just try it. It's fun.
Why are my debuggers hitting?
Well, first you got an error, and I think that's messing you up.
The error is I don't some polyfill thing. I don't think that's related to my code at all. It's some custom elements thing. I don't know what that is. I think it's unrelated. What's going on here? What's going on here? This is app root. Is this even the right app root? Right, so app. Why are there so many? Oh, is every challenge its own directory? Is that what I've been doing wrong?
I don't know. I've never looked at this internally.
Oh yeah.
Ha! Is
That's
that
what it is.
why?
Every challenge is its own directory. I was just kind of jumping around.
So remember I said this is with NX? I wonder if you got to do like multi-project setup and then next you got to switch to the project or something.
Okay. So how do I know which one I'm running then?
Like I would know. I told you I don't know how to use NX. Where's Chow? Chow knows how to do this. He is an NX person. I know he's in the stream. Chow, how do you do this? Addition, addict, hey nerds, hey
Okay,
you.
launch within the project. Okay. That makes more sense. See, this is a classic situation of why spend 5 minutes reading the documentation when you can spend 30 minutes just screwing around and getting nowhere.
Okay, what did you have to do to make it work?
Where am I? So, what is that directory? Apps, and then CRUD. Is that not? Oh, apps, Angular, CRUD.
What does it tell you that in the documentation here to get into getting started? It had a line or something?
No, well, no, I didn't actually look. Choose a challenge. So like it doesn't say here. Resolve a challenge. Resolve a challenge. Come in and push your work. I don't see the part where. Oh, here we are. Yeah, npx index serve application name. So that's the part I ignored. I just did npm.
No, I told you got to use NX on this, and so then you didn't have to be in that directory. I bet you if you did, you should probably go up. Yeah, I was gonna say that you should probably go to the root directory and then do NX serve CRUD, and it should know. Nope. Go up to Angular challenges. One more.
Hold on.
What? You need to be at root. I said that. Chow, thank you for telling him because he don't believe me.
I thought I was in the root. I wasn't in the root. I was in apps.
Yeah, no, you got to be in the root. I said that.
I thought I was in the root.
Why is everybody yelling at you now? Out of the apps. Get out of the
work. See, we should have prepared more, Mark.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Even Jordan's like, "Yo, run in the root. We're trying. I promise." Wait. Okay, so is it not CRUD then? We did not wait. Don't yell at us, Moss. We did not skip your questions. Don't yell. What's your question? Okay, we'll answer your question. You don't have to yell. We were going to get to it. Oh, it could be Angular CRUD. He said the project name could be Angular CRUD.
Oh, okay.
So we got to see what the project name is.
There it is.
No way I would have known to do that. Okay, so is SSR a PWA proxy or something other? How does it work?
Let's see. I can't see the questions because I don't have my.
I know.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't know what that.
I don't understand what that question is asking.
Yeah.
Angular SSR is like rendering your application to HTML on the server.
Right. And PWA is being able to run your application offline. So those are kind of like.
Well, that's part of what a PWA is, but there's more to it than that as well.
Right. There's more to it, but I'm just saying, but like that's like to be able to install a web app on your application, on your device, local or whatever. There you go.
Okay, that's a bunch of different stuff.
But we didn't skip your question. Don't be upset with us. Don't be upset.
All right. I wanna here. I'm gonna just revert. What do I even have all checked? Like, why are these changes all made? I thought I was gonna revert everything.
Oh, okay. So look, you were supposed to open the NX console extension, and you didn't do that.
Well, I don't have
that. I was just telling you. You didn't do it.
Next time we're playing the game.
Yeah, that's what we get. We didn't do it. Awesome, Lars. Thanks for answering Muaz's question. Thank you so much, and thanks Muaz for asking your question. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Off topic. Oh, I do not know. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So now.
Oh, wait. We got a special guest. We got Todd Libby in the building. Todd Libby is one of the coolest people in the universe. Brilliant accessibility engineer and all around really, really fantastic person. Got to hang out with Todd at Connect Tech a few weeks ago, and really rad. Thanks for coming out, Todd, to hang out with us. Super great to see you. Let's go. Okay, look, I'm going to get back to more questions before people keep yelling at us. All right. Mark, do you think signals can replace a singleton service that holding data for an entire application? Okay, good question. Is that an anti-pattern though?
So one of the goals, the explicit goals of Angular signals is that signals are usable not just in components and directives, but are usable in any part of your application, especially services and injectables. So you would not want to necessarily create a signal just as kind of a module level variable and then use that as like application wide state, but definitely you could create a service and have that signal value live inside of the service so that you can then inject it in multiple places and have that shared state that way, and then still use testables for that service and other benefits of DI.
Are we going to use defer in the stream? No, because we're just doing challenges for fun. But good question.
User ID completed.
What happened to your formatting there?
I just pasted something. Don't worry about it.
All right. Wait, so are you just implementing the type that you need? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's all I'm doing. It's like, hey, the challenge said to not use any. I'm just doing the challenge.
I'll do the challenge. Okay. If I use Signal, then can I skip Zone.js, for example, manual state management? Chirag, you cannot skip Zone.js just yet with your components.
We're working towards that.
Right. Can't do it just yet. Good question. Let's see. Are you going to make ng optimize generate responsive images like Next.js does? Oh, you already asked this. No, don't worry about it, Alex. Hopefully I answered your question. Let us know if we did not. But yeah, you're all good. Let's see. With these new features, will there be a new rendering engine in the future? Are we going to make another Ivy?
Nope. Rendering engine is great.
Yep. I agree. Let's see. What's the next step you're excited about most? I'd say what I'm excited about most. I think the Angular server-side story is really exciting, and us just continue to expand and like looking into streamable stuff, right? Like streamable, like server, like integration, and just what we can do with Angular now that we have kind of crossed that bridge from a decent solution without hydration to now having full hydration, now having defer, now having SSR, like be really nice. I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Jeremy? What are you excited about the most?
I am most looking forward to the deeper signal integrations, right? So signal-based inputs, queries, and then moving on further in the direction of the signal-based components that we described in the RFC. I think that I'm personally very excited to, as we get a little bit further along, sit down with it myself and start building, how does a UI component like a list box work in this? And we also have some partners inside of Google, some Google applications who I won't name right now, that we're going to be partnering with to try out signals as we make more progress, so that we're making sure we're validating all of this in real applications. And I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be really fun.
I'm going to tell you a secret though, Jeremy. Your screen booted itself.
Oh no, I did that because it looked like we were about at time, and we're not making any more progress on these challenges.
Oh yeah, okay. So friends at home, okay, Jeremy, let's just do some like rapid fire. You got like at least 20 questions, 13 questions. Okay, let's see if we can just rapid fire real quick. Could you tell me if there's any news about Angular Material upgrade to version 3?
It's coming. So for full transparency, right? We were trying to ship that in 17 and we weren't able to finish it in time. It's as simple as that. So we're really working hard on it, and we're trying to get to it as fast as we can.
So what about the migration process from Angular 17 and the ES build? Like, how do I do it?
There will be more on that soon.
Right. But isn't there already an update guide as well?
I don't remember. I know Doug was talking about writing some update documentation, but we definitely don't have an automated update yet.
Okay.
Generally, the way we would go about this is we want to make sure we have upgrade tooling, like built into ng upgrade or other like opt-in schematics at the point at which we deprecate the old thing. Sometime and if we have it ready sooner than that, fantastic. But we like the Webpack builder and infrastructure is it's not deprecated, it's still supported. And so you can continue using that, and the ES build stuff is still pretty new. And then tooling to help you switch to it later will be coming.
Is there any roadmap for forms? They have fallen into oblivion a bit, especially strongly typed forms are a pain to use and verbose. I don't know. This is interesting because I feel like we just released a major update to forms recently.
Strongly typed forms what was that, 15?
That was 15, yeah.
15, so about a year ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we haven't done any major work on forms in the past year, but there is going to need to be some work that happens as part of signals. So both forms and router, and for that matter, components as well, like material and CDK, are also they're all going to need some investment to make them work really well with signals. And for forms in particular, we have some very rough ideas about what kind of future iterations of the forms module might look like, but where it's a little bit lower in the backlog than things like shipping signals and kind of a lot of the server-side rendering and hydration stuff we're doing, more improvements to kind of defer style things. So it is something we plan on getting to in kind of doing more of a refresh of the forms module, but we're just not quite there yet.
Yeah, okay. Will there be support for Mozilla Firefox users? And I think this is in regards to Angular.dev's playground.
I hope so. I think we want it to work there. I actually don't know why it doesn't today, so we need to figure that out.
Which role do you guys perform on the Angular team? Oh, great question, Alan. What role does the mighty Jeremy perform?
So the term that gets used the most is I'm Uber tech lead for Angular. So yeah. I'm the chief tech lead. I don't know what word I would use. But yeah,
let's say you're our fearless leader and call it a day from the tech side.
It's more complicated than that, right? You're because right. Simona and Minko are also, part of our leadership.
That's true.
And it's, no one person on the team is the chief executive, right? It's, we have a consensus among a group of leads. And so I'm more focused on the technical aspects of the framework and components and tool, over everything, right? Not just one particular area. Whereas the team is split into kind of sub-teams for components and framework and tooling and those each areas. And then there's also DevRel and our own infrastructure in addition to that. But
right.
As far as the product itself, which people are engaging with, each of those areas has their own tech lead. And then I'm kind of I sit above that and provide technical direction and guidance and influence and consulting for all of that work.
And then you mentioned DevRel. So that's what I do on our team. Developer Relations Engineer is a really special role because it doesn't mean anything consistent depending on where you go, right? So at some companies, people who do my job, they're just oh, we do videos. At Google, or they write blogs. At Google, I do videos. I do blogs. I write code. I contribute to the documentation, like the tutorial. I wrote a lot of the tutorials, right? I participate in technical discussions and help us try to figure out, things as well. For example, I led the conversation that we were having around inject versus constructor, right? And so there's just a lot of different things that I do here at Google. but it's still a, I have a lot of fun doing it. One thing I get to do is I get to, go and talk on stages a lot too. That's one of my favorite parts of this role. And I love being on camera too. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, Jeremy, did I miss anything? Did I do anything else that I didn't represent in this list?
You do everything.
I do a lot, but
You do it all. He sings, he dances, he plays the guitar.
I do. I do not sing. I do dance. Do not sing. I wish I sang. If I sang, you would never hear the end of it. All right, that's enough. Do you guys build Angular that can be used perfectly in Chrome extension? A use case could be index should be rendered completely into another Chrome window.
I mean, as far as I know, you can use Angular in a Chrome extension. Angular DevTools is built with Angular.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's so sweet. And then the reason why I say that is because Matthew Riegler is an incredible contributor to Angular, but so is Enia, and so are so many other friends out there. He's just a wonderful contributor, great friend of the team.
Yeah, and we love to have our contributors sit with us.
Yeah, you can sit with us. I mean, like, we're just regular people. Like, you can sit with us. Like, come on. Okay, I have a specific question. I would like to use Angular with an older ECMA script version. How is that possible? I have only EC 2019 and older on the LG TV. Aha. Want to use an Angular app on the LG TV? Eddie, that's very rad.
So the unfortunate answer here is that we make no real support guarantees about this kind of thing. If you configure your TypeScript to output ES 2019 and that works, great. If it doesn't, there's not really much you could do about it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Could you help with effects and signals? Indicate how it works and when you need to use it if you can compare it with subjects. Thanks.
I think this is a much deeper question than we can really get into on stream. I think we're going to end up having quite a lot of documentation down the line of when it's appropriate to use effects and what you should use them for.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, it's a good question because it's not an easy answer.
Yeah. I was on a podcast the other day with Wes Boss and Scott Talinsky, and one of the things that I heard that was really rad was a use for computed that wasn't the standard example of like first name plus last name, and then you got like total name or first name plus surname. They're like, a great example is if you have a shopping cart, you want to get that total. Yeah. That can be a computed. And I'm just like, man, that's such a good one, right? That's such a good example. So I really like that one. All right, I have a question. Not sure if it's already been answered. Will there be any way to see signal values in Angular DevTools?
We do plan on having some sort of developer tooling for your signal graph in DevTools. We don't quite know what it will look like yet, but it is eminently possible to kind of visualize your signal graph in a similar way to that we visualize your DI hierarchy in the 17 release. There are some like obviously open questions in that. For example, like computeds don't have names, so what do you show for them if you're visualizing them, right? So it's something we would like to do, but it is kind of an icing on the cake kind of thing that would come a little bit later.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. All right, I think I do rap. Does he rap? Yes, I do rap. I do. I would not be rapping on stream.
Right. Got a link to that ngconf video?
Well, so I did 5 raps in one freaking like talk, and y'all still don't give it the love. Let's see. Would the Angular team feature the accessibility information in the docs more prominently? Seems like there's a little buried under best practices.
Yeah, that's something we're probably going to reconsider when we do kind of a refresh of the UI component site. I mentioned earlier that is something we're thinking about, and restructuring the documentation to maybe make that information more prominent or more discoverable is something that we can consider.
Yeah, super rad. Okay, Jeremy, I want to show you something. I want to show the street something. Check this out. Here we are. We're out there.
What kind of switches you got?
Browns. I got the Browns. That's what was available for the. But I got. You know what I don't love though? This. A cable messing up my pristine cable-free desktop.
Yeah, get a nicer cable so that the cable is part of the aesthetic, right? You've seen the nice coiled ones, right?
Yeah, I do need to do something. And then it's also messing me up because I have a USB mic that I'm speaking into. Then I have a camera, and then I have an audio interface, but I don't have enough USB output outlets on my
Mhm.
monitor to plug my keyboard into the monitor as like the hub, if that makes sense. So I either have to I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure out how I want to combine all my AV equipment to one USB through like a media module or something, but I don't want to buy anything else.
Is this mostly about cable management or about like a limited number of USB ports?
It's a limited number of USB ports because I have two computers that I switch between. And so I don't want to have to keep switching cables, right? I just want to switch the input on my monitor.
Yeah, I mean there are devices that do that. I think they're like switcher.
Yeah, I know, but then you cross over into the fact that now I got to have more items on my desk. Ugh. Anyway, Jeremy, tell the streets what they should be excited about. Pitch a thing that you're crazy about right now that you love.
Obviously, we just shipped 17. The defer thing, I think, is one of the more exciting things in that release. So try it out. It's one of the things where it's like it's just kind of magical how it just works. So there's definitely that. Are we talking about non-Angular things too?
Yeah, talk about anything that you're into.
Anything that I'm interested in. Invincible Season 2. Amazon Prime is. I really loved Invincible Season 1. I'm very excited for Season 2.
Yeah.
I just read a book about Douglas fir trees. They're fascinating.
Okay. Let's see. I'll say some things that I'm really excited for. Along with the animated stuff, I just finished Blue-Eyed Samurai, fantastic anime, and I don't even like anime.
I heard that's good. I heard it's
but
good.
It's very good. I'm in the middle of Onimusha anime. I only like Onimusha because I used to play the game on PlayStation 3, and it was one of my favorite games of all time. That series, either PS2 or PS3. So I'm in the middle of that, and then books that I'm reading right now. I'm actually reading Eddie Osmani's book, The Stoic Mind.
Oh, I should read that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good book. I mean, it's really quick reading. I read half of it on a plane ride, to between San Francisco and another city. So pretty great. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, go play Mario Wonder if you haven't.
Oh yeah, I am playing Mario Wonder. It's really novel. I'm happy with it. They have found a way to make every single level just kind of its own novel experience.
Yeah, no, go play that. All right, friends. And then check out Defer syntax, check out new block syntax, check out the new SSR, check out the new docs. There are so many things that we launched with V17. This is one of our biggest launches ever. But guess what? You folks made this launch very, very special. We're on track to cross 100,000 views on that stream, which is amazing for a product announcement from like an open source product where you already knew what we were going to be doing. So thank you all for your support on that. I really can't thank you enough. The team appreciates you all. And yeah, Jeremy, I think that we'll see them again for our last stream of the year in December.
Yes. I just want to play a game.
We will be playing a game. So we're not going to code. We're not going to be doing anything else. Bring on voice coding. They want to see a lot of stuff. Somebody said our streams got to go to 1440p. Listen, maybe you'll never know me. We're going to look into that. We need to, I'm telling you, for 2024, we will look into higher res streams. We'll also look into subtitles, like live subtitles. We're working on it. I promise you we're working on it. All right, friends, that's it for us. Thank you so much for all your hard work, all your support, and for being the Angular community. And do us a big, big favor. Go build great apps. We'll see you the next time.